thing, I believe you basically did them in reverse chronological order. I
Yeah.
believe Sign of the Times actually is canonically the first DLC that takes place timeline wise, followed by Faster Baby, and finishing up with
Yeah.
Stones Unturned.
Correct.
Sign of the Times was an interesting one,
Yeah,
but I still don't know if I like it or not.
no, it's. I'll say it's interesting, but it's not better than Faster Baby.
Oh, no.
Faster Baby is still number one, and I will put a Time to Shine second, and then the last one.
So your order would be the Faster Baby,
You know,
Sign of the Times,
yes.
and Stones Unturned.
Correct. Yes.
I'm still not sure how I feel about that. I like what they're going to do because that's I'll take it back. Same order for you, same order as you had. Because Sign of the Times was a much more emotionally invested story.
Yeah, because it truly was because it was just you're seeing like in the beginning like Father James talking and everything, and then about trying to help Deacon move on, and then you see them have a little discussion in the car as they're driving over the standings, and then as they park, and then you see this girl, this little white girl, out just running out with a knife all bloodied up. In a way, you kind of feel sorry for her.
Yeah. So to give you guys some context, the plot of Sign of the Times is our character focus this time is Father James, and he like they said, he's trying to find closure for Lincoln, trying to find him peace so he can move on. A lot of Mafia story, even the DLCs are just you have to move on at some point in life. But this time they go to Sammy's place, and it turns out we're dealing with a cult this time.
Yeah.
So I would say the theme of this DLC is more or less belief or faith.
Actually, you know what? You can call it because again, you can correct me wrong, but I know in most cults like that, their beliefs and whatever they believe in is very high.
Yes. So for instance, right? So we're contrasting Father Jay's belief in God versus this cult belief in, I think it's Pierre Saint-Gallant.
Yeah, I can pronounce that.
It's French for one thing, and
Yeah.
two, it's basically a devil.
Yeah.
Who I think was invented or in the crazy ramblings of a rebel soldier general from the Civil War.
Yeah.
They find out that the leader of this cult is a descendant of this rebel general. I would say like maybe her grandfather. I would say her grandfather. And basically they're deciding through some random picking or whatnot how to pass on genes, and you find out that Anna was chosen by Bonnie to be the sacrifice or whatever for it, and we find out later on okay, so actually before we get to that, so the cult has three beliefs. There are the well-borns, which are rich white people.
Yeah.
There are the blessed, which is basically the property of the well-borns. And then there's the filth, which are poor blacks.
Wow.
Once again, bringing it back to racism. They are. I'll give the Mafia team, the Mafia 3 team, that they are sticking to that theme very hard.
Oh no, they are. They really are.
And we find out that Anna was chosen to basically be impregnated later on by a man called the High Priest.
That was nasty.
And we don't see the whole act, but we see enough to get an idea, and we are upset by it. And Lincoln is visibly upset by it too, right? He breaks the projector where they recorded the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then the High Priest comes out, he's laughing, going like, "My bloodline will carry on through her." And then it's like after going back and forth, after we find out that after we see that Anna's brain has been rattled by this cult, like scrambled beyond all comprehension.
I'm sorry. Would you consider in Anna's case sort of like PTSD?
Yes. Yes. Even James himself basically said that's what she has.
Yeah.
And when she finally comes down from it, she realizes she's been knocked up by someone she doesn't know, and she hates everything that happened, and she basically takes power into her own hands, and the only way she feels she can, because she admitted that, well, this is how the cult gets you, that she was looking for something, looking for love and protection, and here comes Bonnie offering that which she prayed for every night, and in her desperation, she took the first chance she could to get it, fell for because Bonnie is very charismatic. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. It takes a charismatic leader and somebody desperately wanting.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And Anna takes control of her hands and she slits her throat and kills herself.
I felt in that moment. I felt bad for her.
I did too.
I felt bad for her. Even though even though she was a white girl, I still felt bad. I still felt bad for her because of what she went through. She didn't deserve that. Like you said, all she wanted to do was be loved.
Yeah.
And Bonnie took advantage of that.
Took advantage of that to get some random dude to knock her out.
Yeah, and honestly, man, Bonnie deserved every killing that she deserved in that game.
I felt bad for Anna and I also felt bad for Lincoln because Lincoln was trying desperately.
Oh yeah, no, that was like, see, I like that. I wish how they did that.
Yeah.
As far as Lincoln, like because again, you see Lincoln like in the original game of Mafia 3 is just a hell bent black man, yeah, on revenge. And then when you see in the DLCs, it's just a different looking Clay.
Yeah, it's arguable that the Lincoln Clay we see in Sign of the Times, had that ended differently, had Anna not killed herself, we might not have gotten Lincoln Clay who went after Maroni.
Yeah, but
and with Lincoln Clay and Thatcher, maybe we might have seen him become a Black Panther, which would have been very different for Black Panther cause.
yeah, true.
But with regards to Stones Unturned, Lincoln was more of a passenger, a bystander.
Yeah, no, you're right, he is.
So
That's obvious.
that.
Yeah.
But once again, this is a heavier DLC, but I feel like with a little bit more time devoted to the story, it could have been way darker.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, it still grows on me. It still grows on me. I still love what it is, and that was a genius story that they wrote and developed, but it's just not quite there with Faster
Yeah.
Baby. Something about Faster Baby is just hits home to me.
I think that's great because it is a tighter, more focused script, and it gets to the point, it gets to the more cathartic elements really fast.
Yeah.
I think it's more rewarding. Whereas this one is very much a slow burn.
Yeah.
Very much a slow burn, and you have to be really paying attention to what's going on to really grasp the true depths of the situation and the similarities that Lincoln has with Anna.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating commentary on the nature of a cult, right? Because every single time you hear about cults, people get out of cults. One of the biggest ones, and I hesitate to mention this one because I know they make people disappear, but Scientology. Scientology is basically a cult. One of the most well-known cults out there. And all it really takes is, once again, a charismatic leader and somebody desperate for something.
Yeah, I think you told me that. You told me like, I think it was you or somebody else told me. Somebody said like, it's like Scientology is a cult.
Yeah.
Like once they pull you in, it is hard to get out.
Yes. It's very hard to get out without being disappeared.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and I think back to people that are celebrities that do that. I'm like, now it makes more sense.
Yeah, I believe it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Will Smith. I think Chris Rock's one of them.
I'm very surprised by that. I'm very surprised by Chris Rock like that.
I think so. I don't remember. Basically, if you see a celebrity on film, there's a 80% chance they're a Scientologist.
Yeah.
I know Isaac Hayes was one.
Really?
Yeah, Isaac Hayes was a Scientologist.
Oh God.
That's why he left the South Park show as a chef, I believe. He had this agreement because they were satirizing Scientology, and he didn't like it, so he just left. And as revenge for him leaving the show, they turned Chef into a pedophile.
Oh God.
Yeah. So once again, that's the thing. That's the thing.
That's crazy, man.
You gotta be careful with regards to that because it's like you have somebody who's dead for something, not very well educated, and here comes somebody who is charismatic and speaks with confidence. Because that's really all. That's all charisma is. It's just being confident.
Yeah, exactly.
And like if I could literally walk out into the middle of the street right now and just spout some random nonsense, people would listen to me. But if I did it as if I knew what I was talking about, it's easy to fall for that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And because part of the human psyche is wired to follow.
Yeah, of course.
We we have a lead/follow mentality. There is no live for yourself mentality, really. Like, really, to be honest with you, truly honest with you, to be an independent thinker, to think for yourself and take the time to read and understand what's going on,
Yeah.
that is a lot harder than being a leader.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than being a follower.
Yeah.
And most people choose to follow, most people choose to lead. Very few people choose to say, fuck it, I don't want anything to do with you guys. Let me do my own thing.
Yeah.
So,
That's true because a lot of people like just following people and just doing as they say, and it's the easy route.
what do they call it? Herd mentality?
Yes.
Yeah, herd mentality.
Mhm.
And all it takes is one person who's willing to be confident to get people in line. And that's what we see depicted here.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially inside the club scene, a lot of people who are just there for
Oh my
drugs
God.
and booze.
Yeah.
Especially if that person offering an easier life, a fun life.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, cause she's up on stage, and like you said, she had that charisma. She was happy and confident when she was saying to my mom, like, y'all here want to have fun, have herbs and have drink and party, stay here and have fun.
Yeah. It's sending back to one of my favorite Tupac lyrics from Ghetto Gospel.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's the lyric goes, I refuse to be a role model. I set goals, take control, drink out my own bottle. I make mistakes, but look for everyone, but when it's said and done, I'll be a better one.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly a more important lesson to learn.
It is.
Because he's basically saying, I'm my own person.
Yeah. Nobody's controlling me, nobody's telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And that's how.
Ironically, he's in a game, but
still, yeah. But I think that's how I feel about the current time where I'm in right now.
Yeah.
With my job, I don't want to be in that job anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm working hard to do what we do right now so I can leave that job.
Yeah. And looking, a lot of that is, ironically, commentary on times now. People are basically trained to listen and believe whatever someone who speaks with some kind of confidence and authority says. But just because they speak with confidence and authority doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just means they're confident about what they're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I can be confident, I can say all day long that you can eat dog feces and that would be good for you. But only an idiot sits there and listens to what anyone still tells them to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you gotta be able to think for your own,
But
think yourself.
I bet you right now, a couple of people will actually still do that. Oh my God, you're right.
Yes.
This makes sense.
Yep. And a lot of them, I guarantee you, are not well educated.
No.
I'm gonna bet you good money on that.
No. Like, when you get to that point when you actually listen to somebody say that and you believe that, yeah, no, you're not educated. No.
So it really does boil down to, are you willing to think for yourself, or let someone else do the thinking for you?
Yeah.
And I know got to a point where she let people do thinking for her, and when she finally came back down, she had given up so much of herself that she just really couldn't live with it. And the only way she could really take it back is by thinking it.
Yeah, but that hurt me watching that. I'd say, oh my God.
And the sad reality of the situation is that's how a lot of people go.
Yeah.
A lot of cultists get out of that cult. They feel like the only way they can get out is by taking their own lives.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a sad thing. I don't really know how we can combat it besides just being better educated.
Yeah. I mean,
it was brave of this writing team to tackle that story.
yeah, no, cause that was probably a hard subject to tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
You know, there are plenty of examples of at least just in America alone, of cults getting out of control. I know a few here that, like, you know, I think there's both in Jamestown, was and stuff like that, where they burnt this warehouse to the ground in Texas.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
It was like back in
Oh.
back in the 90s or something like that. Then there was the whole incident in Japan where, like, the whole cult managed to get their hands on military grade weapons and attack helicopter and basically release a poison gas throughout the
What?
military system. It was a whole thing, man.
Jesus
And
Christ.
this was from a cult, from a guy who was blind but charismatic.
Man.
And oftentimes it's started by people who are celebrities. It's why I don't like the idea of celebrity culture, celebrity worship, and parasocial relations in our time.
Yeah.
If you like a celebrity, likely for their work, but leave it at that.
Yeah, because man, it's just like they think voice of God. That's a whole different story right there.
Yeah.
I will talk to him the way you see me talk to people at work.
Yeah.
I will cuss them out.
Yeah.
I will cuss them out. You don't show me respect, I will cuss you out.
I'm also a big fan of Morgan. I respect his work immensely.
Yeah.
But if he acts any kind of stupid,
Yeah.
guess what I want to do?
Throw those hands.
I'm gonna talk to him like he's stupid. I'm not gonna throw hands on him because I don't want the voice of God to come down on me. But I won't talk to him. I won't talk to him like he's stupid.
You
know what I'm saying?
the voice of God.
Because at the end of the day, they might be therapists, but they're still people.
Yeah, they're still human beings.
Because here's the problem. Here's why I say that, right? You keep up this celebrity worship nonsense, because now I went from worshiping people who were entertainers to worshiping people who are corporate business owners.
Yeah.
And we see it with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos.
Oh, well, yeah.
And those are the last two to be worshiping as gods.
Yeah.
Especially Elon. He's out his damn mind.
Yeah, of course. Well, those two, and especially Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul, yeah, no, he that's gone straight to his head.
Yeah.
But once again, people are people.
Yeah.
Do not get locked down in the fact that
they're not gods. They're not invincible. They are literally human beings just like us. They're just able to afford better things more than the average citizen.
Yeah. So once again, this is just all based off of just the times.
Yeah.
I don't know if cults are ever going to go away. I honestly do not think so.
No.
I think if there is a society, there is a system of a societal system of how mechanisms work, there will be a cult that sprouts from within it.
Yeah, but see, and I agree that because it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Like you may have one family that teach their kid, hey, you know what? When you see a black person, you do this. And so continues until somebody has to break that chain.
Yeah.
But I really honestly don't think that's gonna happen.
It's a generational thing. Eventually, there will be one person inside that chain that does break it, but we'll see for how long.
Yeah, we'll see. But just overall, just from my part, I would say, like I said, it was a pretty interesting story though, and I'm glad the writers wrote and developed that thing very well, and actually just took people and actually did it.
Yeah.
Because again, that was pretty risky.
Very.
On their end, and like I said, I still put it as number 2. It's not quite there with Faster Baby, but it's still good.
Very, very much so. I agree with that. I still think Faster Baby's the best, followed by this in terms of just its emotional impact, and trailing very, very, very far behind its films and turns.
Yeah.
I understand what they're going with Donovan, but because it's Donovan and because they have to basically change his character dynamic, completely get it to work, I felt like it didn't fit.
Yeah, for some odd reason I couldn't relate to that character.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say because I can relate to him in the actual story.
Even at the end of the main story, where he has that moment that seems very out of character for him, it's still in character. This one is just out of character.
It really is out of character.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just.
But yeah, that is Mafia.
Yeah.
Join us next week for Sleeping Dogs.
Yes. That's gonna be interesting.
Very much so. I actually don't know anything about Sleeping Dogs, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing this.
Oh, you don't?
I don't know anything about Sleeping Dogs.
Oh.
All I know about Sleeping Dogs is that it takes place in Korea, I believe.
He's going to love the first one.
Oh, there's 2 of them?
Yeah, 2 of the line play. That's like the second line play because it didn't have the same feel as the first one, so I didn't have any bother